a day on NQ, NFP day. Been a rubbish week, but we ended on a high. And no, the thumbnail was not clickbait. It was 500 points, which is quite phenomenal in one trading session. So wanted to run through it with you. Welcome, JC Trading, Chris with you. And we're going to look at these two trades, two slightly different trades. One was a silver bullet entry. So for those that don't know, silver bullet, we are looking for two things primarily. One is a range liquidity sweep, which we had here. So this come up and it swept the previous range. We're waiting for a market structure shift, which we had here. Let me get my arrow. We had a market structure shift there. Obviously we've broken structure to the downside, and then we had a retracement back up into that fair value gap, and we wicked just slightly into it. And on that note, that's why we always say over in the Discord to have your entry just below or above these fair value gaps when you're doing these types of trades. Sometimes the wicks will just barely touch, and if your entry is on the bottom, for argument's sake there, sometimes it's so close you just don't get tagged in. So we always recommend leaving a small buffer. This one actually did go slightly into the fair value gap, but they don't always do that. So what did we do after that? So this trade here was 300, I think it was just over 300, 312, call it. So 312, the initial target was the news low here. So price has been moving down. Once we got here, then it was a case of trailing a virtual stop loss down, which you can see here. And then when price closed above that virtual stop loss, the trade was exited. So that was the first trade of that session, and that was a risk to reward of 8, well, 7.99, and just shy of 312 points. The second on the same leg was an inverse strategy setup, which was this one. So this one was 183.5 points and a risk to reward of 10.49, or let's call it 10.5. So what did we do here? Well, we were reacting from these higher time frame fair value gaps. These are slightly higher risk, or this one was, because we hadn't actually swept any liquidity here. We typically, over on the Discord when we're streaming live, and this was all streamed live today, by the way, and running commentary on stop loss placement. It's preferable to have a sweep. We didn't here. However, there were some factors to take into account. One, that every other rule was met, and secondly, we had the news low down here, but we did also have a minimum of a 1-to-1 before we reached that next area of liquidity. So once we had entered the trade just on this candle here, we then broke down. We've got to this previous low. That's our next area of liquidity. We won't break low. And then the virtual stop loss is exactly the same as how we followed it down for the silver bullet. So we followed the virtual stop loss down. Once we got a close above it, then we exited the trade. And that's how 500 points in one session came about. Silver bullet, inverse. If you're interested in watching us trade this live or learn more about how we trade, pop over to the Discord. We stream twice a day, Monday to Friday, London and New York sessions. We've got a great community over there, lots of helpful people, and obviously we can answer any questions that you might have, or you can just watch us trade live. Be great to see you over there. Any questions, let me know. Cheers, bye.